this series was so important to me. What happened at each show and the game plan going forward. My physique looked so good. I got first cause at all of them, so let's just put that there. So that's kind of my game plan going forward.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise.
To our winner, Julia, Rene.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video. It feels like I haven't filmed in so long because I haven't. Obviously with Ian filming, me filming, editing and stuff, and trying to make sure everything is like perfect and we're not missing anything. You know, you guys are a little bit behind, but honestly, it felt really good to take a break from filming because we had so many stacked up videos because I had just been like doing show to show. We had so many stacked up videos that I had that opportunity to rest. And this is honestly the first time that I'm picking up the camera to like film for YouTube. But just like with prep, how you get really tired of like doing cardio, training, and like your body needs a break. I love making content for you guys so much, you know, but sometimes it's nice to just like go to HEB without bringing a camera, or like, you know, do my morning routine without having to bring the camera with me. So it was nice to, you know, get that little reset. But I wanted to use this video to kind of just do a recap of the entire season, how I feel about it, like what happened at each show, and the game plan going forward, because I really like kind of know, but I also kind of don't know. I know what I need to do as far as building and growing and stuff, but as far as like where we're gonna take it with YouTube, no idea at this point. So you guys probably need to help me out. But man, like y'all, it's just crazy. I just had this flash right now of me sitting here and filming the first video of like the intention behind the Metamorphosis series. I just had like and it truly has been the most incredible metamorphosis that I have experienced thus far in my 28 years of life. We started this journey and I had such a wild whirlwind, chaotic, incredible, sad, frustrating year last year, like all of the things, all the scale of emotions. And that's why this series was so important to me, because it was like coming back to me, and it was truly transforming into the butterfly that I feel like I really am. And I learned so much during this process, and I want to really dive into the things that I learned as well. But let's go over like show by show first. So the Texas Pro was the first show that I did, and that one was in Irving, Texas, I believe. And my physique looked so good. It was not my best physique because I feel like my best physique, like we just kept getting better and better. That's when I wore the red suit for the first time, and I was just very unsure how I was gonna feel about the red suit. I've never had a red suit before, and I absolutely loved it. I definitely had the shiggity shakes on stage just because it was my first show of the year. I was a little nervous. All my friends and family came because it was in Texas, and that was so magical just to like be able to come out from the backstage and get to see my friends and family there was so amazing. And we placed 6th at that show, and I got first call out. I got first cause at all of them, so let's just put that there. And I was so happy with the package that we put on stage. But now hindsight, this routine that I put on stage, I wasn't the most proud of, only because I had like downplayed my personality so much. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But then I finished that show, and like I was so happy with everything. My body felt great. I was in such a good mood, you know, and my body was clicking, everything was working, there was no issues. And then after finals, got the feedback from them, and you know, feedback was we need more glute density, well, leg density. So basically hips down need to grow. And I was like, cool. So coach was like, you know what, let's do a show a week later. Let's turn around and hit the Atlanta Pro. And I had never done that before. which was so crazy. So I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous, like, how am I gonna do back-to-back peak weeks? Because leading up to this was already so hard, like how I'm gonna do that. And surprisingly, Coach was right. It was actually a lot easier than I thought, because I just had my free meal with my family and friends, and then like got right back on, and we basically just started peak week again, the exact same routine, and my physique looked even better at the Atlanta Pro. I would say, I think the Atlanta Pro was like, I think it was my least favorite show. That just, I don't know. I don't want to say why, but it is just, the reason that it was my favorite, one of my favorites though, that I really had such a like good experience was because me and my mom got to go alone. It was so nice. It was such a quick turnaround. I didn't expect anybody to come, you know, with me, but my mom's like, can I come? I'll carry your bags. I ended up carrying all the bags. And I was like, Mom, that would be awesome. Like, and she helped me do my hair. She made me rice, like cooked my stuff while I went and got my tan. And we just got to hang out and like watch makeup YouTube videos and just talk and spend time together. And it was so nice getting to have her there with me. And I'm so glad that we got to have that bonding moment. I placed 6th at that show as well. And that's where I got to meet Lisa. I'm not gonna say her last name because it starts with a W, because I don't want to say it wrong, but she was incredible. I got to meet her and she was so kind but so fierce at the same time. And she ended up being the winner of that show, and she was such a cool competitor to meet because she's top 10 at the Olympia. So the feedback for that one was exactly the same. Exactly the same. And my posing at that show was definitely better than the last one, or the one previous, because I, got the jitters out. I was like, I know what it feels like to be on this stage. Like, I got this, but I still had my routine a little bit downplayed. And I think it was until the next show, which was actually 2 weeks later of pushing, which was the RGV. That was the harder push to do, the 2 weeks versus the week to week. It was definitely harder. Whew, I remember just being like so out of it and so fatigued, but also still in such like a good mood and, excited, and my body was responding so well. And I was just like, I remember thinking, I don't know what's going on, but it's cool. And I'm gonna accept it because this is great. And yeah, after that one was the RGV. It's like, I can't even barely organize it in my own mind. RGV was definitely, it was McAllen. I went by myself. It was so incredible. It was run so smooth. It was a beautiful like venue. The people in McAllen were amazing. I think that was my favorite show. Even though that was my highest placing, of course, like that could be a reason why too. I got 4th place at that show, and I was so proud of that because I did what I wanted to do, and that was I wanted to beat my last year's placing, and we were 5th, and then I was like, we got to 4th, and I was so proud. Definitely my best physique so far was that show, and I wore the blue suit for that one, and I loved the blue suit. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. I loved it so much. And the feedback was exactly the same. Feedback was the same. They said that if I was doing another show, that I could come in a tiny bit leaner, and I was gonna do the Heart of Texas, which is the show that I came back after having 2 years off last season, and I just really wanted to do it. And I kind of looked at this show as like I could end my season here, but for me, it was like a coming home. And what was crazy was at the Heart of Texas, which was a week after RGV, I was like, I'm wearing my pink suit, I'm getting an Airbnb for all my friends, and we're gonna have like a girlies night. Like, I wanted it to just be like the end of this series, like the end of this chapter that I've been through. And what's crazy, you guys know me. I like to look up the meanings of my button numbers, like what they mean. So I looked up what my number 13 meant. And it was literally about like the closing of a chapter. And that's seriously how it felt. Not only was it, I knew it was gonna be my last season of my show while I was doing it, and it was a full circle thing. Like, I had done this show this time last year, and after that, it felt like my whole life was falling apart. So it really was, and I just knew that I needed to do it regardless if I was going to look better or whatever. It was just something I needed to do. And I wore the pink suit and I just had like the best time. And you know, I got to play games with my friends afterwards. We ended up placing 6th at that one with the same feedback. And it was so fun. I think my honest favorite part was getting to have like the girls' night afterwards. I got a glass of rosé, we played games. I laughed so hard, my stomach was literally sore the next couple of days. And I just like took it slow, you know, coming back. I stayed an extra day by myself at the Airbnb and hung out with Vision, and getting to have Ian there as well for the last one, because he was at the first one and the last one, so that we can hang out and he can get some really good content. And that show day video was so awesome. I was literally in tears just watching the new intro, which I hope you guys liked, because we like to do that at the end of every season. But I learned so much during this series, and I know I shared a lot with you guys with my journal entries, but I just learned to like have more joy in doing this, and you know, still see people and not have to isolate myself, and reach out when I needed help, or rest and pull back when I needed to, and knowing that that is okay. Like there's a time to push and there's a time to pull back. And there's power in knowing when to do which one. And I am so excited for this next chapter, even though I have no idea what we're going to do. But I want to get back into jiu-jitsu, but I still want, my main focus is still bodybuilding. It's going to be bodybuilding until I stop loving it as much as I do. But our intention is to go into the improvement season, start our reverse diet, and start bringing up calories, start training hard again, because I'll have the strength to grow first. Glutes and hams are still going to be the focus for the first 6 months of the off season. And then at the tail end, we'll start adding a little bit more quads in, because my quads grow so fast. And really work on that feedback and nail down my posing routine, because I finally feel like we got it. At the RGV, and then at the Heart of Texas Pro, I just brought back the energy and the balance between Julia Rene kind of posing and what the judges want to see. And now I'm like, this is the routine, and I'm just going to nail it down this off season, and we're going to come back and it's going to be flawless. I think I was just changing it up too much season to season, rather than finding something and just sticking to it and mastering it. So that's kind of my game plan going forward. But we still have one more video before I officially close out, you know, this season, because I want to do the show day makeup that you guys requested. And also, I feel like I learned, like, finally the best show day makeup. We just keep getting better and better. So thank you guys so much for being here through all of this. I'm like so sad that it's over, but also like now is a completely different chapter where we go and make the adjustments and we take the feedback and we come back better. And if it wasn't for the improvement season, the on season wouldn't even be possible. All of the work that I did last year was why this season was so incredible. So I love you all so much, and you are more powerful than you think.